You mentioned America. In fact, that political economist Robert Reich, he used it in the 1990s about wealthy Americans disengaging in public life, moving to gated communities, sending their children to private schools. So this is something that has happened worldwide, no, globally. What is it about India in 2020s that worries you is different from what happened in 1990s?
Well, first of all, Reich, and I quoted him, in fact, in my previous book, Power Elite.
Yeah.
That is where this title of the book comes from. The last chapter of my previous book was Secession of the Successful, and then a lot of people asked me to elaborate
Expand
on it.
on
So
that.
this book comes out of that. He was talking about within a society, right? Like even in India, it happens that the elite kind of go into gated communities, private security, private electricity, private water, everything is privatized and you live in your own cocoon. But that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to, you use the word brain drain. Now, the concern that this book expresses is that when brain drain began in the 70s and 80s, it was a problem that engaged economists. It was a problem that engaged policymakers. I mean, Jagdish Bhagwati, I've quoted all of them. Jagdish Bhagwati, Dandekar, a whole lot of people were doing research on why is this happening, what should we do to prevent it. In other words, policymakers were focused on it. Unfortunately, today we are no longer focused on it. We now take it as, yeah, it happens all over the world, it's happening in India, but we are not recognizing it as a problem that more and more, and the numbers are rising. I mean, I quoted from the data given by government in parliament. The numbers are rising. 23,000 millionaires, 18 lakh Indians have given up citizenship in the last 10 years. Now, these are all parliament answers. Now, I think this should worry us.
Why?
And, well, I think because we are still a developing country. We are a low middle income economy. We are aspiring to be Vikasit Bharat. You cannot become Vikasit Bharat without a much more aggressive push into science and technology. Our R&D spending as a share of GDP is very, very low compared to many other industrializing economies. So there's a lot of homework for us to do. And if you're creating talent coming out of your good schools and not able to retain them because they're all going out and finding life is better, I'm going to stay there. And, this is an elite phenomenon that today, as I mentioned in the book, across sectors, whether it's business or government or diplomacy or politicians or academia, across sectors, the next generation is increasingly going out. And I ask this question, what happens when those who are today decision makers, move on? What is their stake? Because none of their children are coming back. So I think there is a serious challenge of...
No, let me interrupt you on this. If their children are not coming back, you're presuming that the bureaucrat of today is doing his job to make a better India for his children. Isn't there a larger goal?
I'm not
So even
presuming.
if
All
his
I'm
children
saying
are not
is
here.
if it's a class phenomenon. I'm not talking about individuals. What I'm saying is when a whole social class you find across the board, and these numbers are rising. When you find an entire social class seceding in this, that's the reason I use the title Secession of the Successful. I think we need to sit up and ask, why is this happening and how can we prevent? That is the objective of my book, to get people to ask the question. Instead of simply saying, yeah, people are going, it happens all over the world. No, it happens all over the world. But why is it's happening in India, and what is it we can do to prevent that? Because we need this talent in this country. Ultimately at the end of the day, the elite are just 5% of their country. The taxpayers in India, for example, if you take that as a measure of the national elite, are 5%. In a 1.4 billion people country. So if in that 5% more and more are leaving, that should concern government.
Do subscribe to the ANI Clips channel to get shorter versions of this podcast. Click here to watch the full episode.